I'm Bryan Ramsey. I'm a garden designer. I own Bryan Ramsey Design. I started approximately 23, 24 years ago. A lot of my early life centered around sustainable living. Both my parents had a large garden at home in Virginia and summers spent in North Carolina on my grandparents' farm. My grandmother especially kind of started centering my focus towards plants from earliest memories possible. I can remember the farm itself was so magical, but especially having her there and seeing all the myriad of color going from one end down to the other. The best memories are of sitting on the front porch, just like I am now, picking the beans, the string beans, like plucking them and picking them down to size, putting them in the bushels. I didn't understand plants. I didn't know where they came from really, what they did, sun, shade, all of those things. I just was clueless about, but it definitely formed a lasting impression. That slowly developed into more understanding and her really teaching me about how to seed them and when to seed them. My education kind of went on and went on. My mom so famously told me she wanted to retire and that I needed to finish. A part of that encapsulated me loving architecture and wanting to go into that, and I discovered that wasn't quite the route for me, and I switched from architecture to landscape architecture. I did love aspects of that, but it was still, again, way too technical and not enough plant-based. There was a degree that I found out about in North Carolina that offered landscape design and horticulture. So it gave me the best of both worlds. It gave me all the design that I really craved, and then it gave me the balance of full-on horticulture. Believe it or not, I still hand draw everything today. Having that artistic family to draw on, and then having the education to kind of fine tune a lot of that was really, really beyond what I ever anticipated getting to utilize, especially in the digital age. With computers and computer-aided graphics, I still do everything by hand. My elevations, the designs are done by hand, so my clients always look at that as a true piece of art, and it really is. I mean, when you consider the days, the hours, everything that goes into that design, and then you eventually hand that off to the client. I do come back years later or even months later and see it framed on the wall. I was really, really fortunate right out of school. I decided to go with a designer outside of DC. And my whole pedigree from that point forward was designing for really the ultimate wealth in the nation. Authors and movie stars and giants of corporate America. As a young kid right out of college, that was the most amazing, jaw-dropping, startling experience ever, to be able to start up there right out of college and design to your heart's content. There were no budgets. Was truly not just rewarding, but very spoiling as well. HGTV and their production company called to say they wanted me for a TV show. When do you ever get a phone call like that from Hollywood? Long story short, I ended up on the set of HGTV, filmed here locally in Hampton Roads, and that was a tremendous experience. It definitely opened me up to that world and how that world is accomplished. There's a sweet gal on set that was the assistant producer, I think, of that show, thought that this kid needed a show of his own. And once we started talking, she found out I had an identical twin brother. That sweetened the deal even more. And so we ended up on the Design Network with our own show called Backyard Staycation. When I enter into a client's space, I know within 15 seconds what I want that to be. I have an entire vision laid out in front of me of what I know that space is going to look like. Every garden that I do, whether the client wants it or not, I always design that space for year-round interest. There's definite heavy interest in summertime I concentrate on colors and tones for the fall and winter especially. I think more than most seasons, I make sure that there's material and there's interest, there's everything working for that space. What keeps me motivated and keeps me going are the smiles and the thank yous. And the thank yous that I get season after season after I've left that project, and they're still discovering new pieces and parts and things blooming and changing the way I'd explained to them it would, and how that follow through brings happiness and joy to their life and creates a really wonderful bond between client and designer.